Hi all, welcome to today's session. We have been discussing on place of supply. On place of supply, we have made our beginning towards section 12, which discuss about the domestic taxability related matters. One of the prerequisites for applicability of section 12, location of supplier, location of recipient, both has to be in the same state. Often doubts will come. How can I understand a location of supplier of service or a location of recipient of service is in the same state? Always we go by registration basis. If a person is registered in Tamil Nadu, from Tamil Nadu office, if he supplies some services, then the location of supplier is Tamil Nadu. Sir, in Tamil Nadu itself, he has two offices. One office which is registered, the other one the real place where all the services are provided, because some big servers, computer systems, networking systems, all that is required for him to provide that service. In other words, that big server computer networking system which is all located should be treated as his fixed establishment. Generally, I'm sure you all will agree with me. Go back and discuss about your place of business. Every place of business of a person will be registered. Then the place from where he supply, that alone will be place of supply. Sorry, that alone will be location of supplier. Now we are discussing a case where a person has a fixed establishment, but he has not registered that. Exceptional discussion, not a regular discussion. Regularly, every person who is supplying the goods, who is receiving the goods, if it is a B2B transaction, they will be registered. In case if a supplier who is going to supply the services is not registered and he has a fixed establishment, again a doubt will come. What do we mean by fixed establishment? Go back to your own definitions that we discussed sometime earlier, where it is characterized by sufficient degree of permanence and suitable structures. When it is characterized by sufficient degree of permanence and suitable structure, in terms of all technical, human, all kind of resources, no doubt that place would be treated as a fixed establishment. Coming back here, there is a registered place, there is a fixed establishment, and the fixed establishment is not reported to the government. That is the important point here. Sir, I have a fixed establishment, I reported it. Then the place will become a registered person's additional place of business or a principal place of business. When they have not reported and used that place for providing that supply, the place that they use, that will become your place of supply. Followed by, sir, I don't have office, I am not registered, I am an individual providing service. Then is usual place of residence. If it is an individual, then the place where he resides. If it is a company, then the place where it is incorporated. So coming back here, often we will have a doubt how I can zero in on location of supplier of service. You can zero in on location of supplier of service only by one terminology. If in case he is registered there, if in case he has a fixed establishment there, if in case he has a residence, but it has to go in certain chronological order. If he is registered and from that registered place only he supplies services, matter ends there. He is registered in location A, but all services are done from location B, but that location B is not registered. not registered, then we will treat it as location B as the location of supplier of service. No, 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 no. Location B is also registered with GST department. Then you will go back to location A, the first entry itself. Whatever place in Tamil Nadu itself, from 6 places we are doing services. Our company is one of the biggest software company, and from 6 places we are doing services. If a person says, very simple, all 6 places are treated as registered person's location. Then the location of supplier of service for all 6 places, though he might be having office in Tiruchi, Coimbatore, Tirunelveli, followed by your Chennai, and one more location, let's say Salem. In all these places, he will have offices, but end of the day, location of supplier is Tamil Nadu. He has one office, but he has not disclosed with the department. Then that fixed establishment condition will come into. That too, what when he used that place for supplying services. See, I am talking of little exceptional discussion. Sir, will it happen like this? Yes, do happen. There are few small companies, small growing companies, they were not aware of this provision. It's not consciously people will do like this. They were not aware of the provision. They had an office in Kochi. They could able to capture some good minds in Kochi that about 10-15 people are interested in this project and they want to participate. So they hired two 3-bedroom houses over there, 3-bedroom hall kitchen, 3-bedroom hall kitchen apartment, 3 BHK was being taken on rent, 2 3 BHK. They connected 2 3 BHK. You will now have 6 rooms, 2 halls, and all those other facility. And now that place was used by this software company to run its show in Kochi. A very interesting note, that company has a registered office in Tamil Nadu. But where is the fixed establishment is located? Kochi. Now, a next question I would ask: is the fixed establishment? Is the fixed establishment is registered? If the answer is no, and if that place is the place used from Kochi only, all work is done. Very simple. Don't go by the registration, go by the fixed establishment. Okay, because from this place only you have supply. Then the location of supplier of services is not Tamil Nadu. Location of supplier of services, Kerala. Sir, if in Kerala they have registered, I am sorry, then you will go to first place. Place where it is registered. You are registered and you are supplying from there, then registration. You are not registered but supplying from there, then that place. Okay. I am registered in one state but supplying services from another state, then the one from where you supply services. That is how it has to be decided. In my view, if you could read through that definition, you'll have a better, more grip what we are trying to say here. Idea is location of supplier of service, 99% is always the registered place. In case of assessees who have not registered, in case of assessee who don't have the grip in all those locations, yes, it is possible. It can be all these exceptional discussions when taken into play. If the location of supplier of service, similarly, the location of recipient. If the location of supplier of service and location of recipient of service, if both are going to be located in the taxable territory, then only we will use section 12. In section 12, we all understood that a general entry 12 subsection 2 can be referred if and only if the supplier is if the service is not covered by the specified list of services. What are my specified list of services? We have a list, complete list of specified list of services. To start with your immovable property based services. All those services which are directly related to immovable property. Could be your any professional services, which are directly related to immovable property, or it going to be any kind of temporary accommodation services, or any kind of construction related services. You can broadly categorize this discussion into three types. Any professional services directly linked with immovable property, place of supply will be location of immovable property. We have discussed this. But sometimes people will come out and ask, sir, we are not having a immovable property, but we have a boat house. What can we do with our boat house? Very simple. If you have a boat house, then am I entitled? Am I this boat house? In this boat house, am I entitled for? Is it an immovable property? No doubt, it is not an immovable property, but the taxation of a boat house is covered only under 12.3. In case if it is a boat house, the place where it is located, the boat is located, that would become place of supply. Sir, sometimes I'll keep the boat house in Kottayam. Sometimes I'll keep, not Kottayam, Kollam. Sometimes I keep the boat house in Kollam. Sometimes I keep the boat house in some other place. Sometimes I take the boat to some other location. If you start taking to different location, then every place where it is stayed, all that will become place of supply. Generally, I come and refer, I've been also told that every boat house is licensed, okay, licensed from a particular state government, and often without knowing provision only people will speak. If you are licensed to a particular state government, you are not supposed to take out the boat from that state itself. Okay. So it's rare. I am not talking of luxury yachts here. Let me keep it. I caution you. I am not talking of luxury yachts. Luxury yacht is something different. Your yachts are different. We are here talking of an ordinary houseboat. So in case of those ordinary houseboat, the place where it is located, that would become your place of supply. Sir, in case if my immovable property is located outside India, exceptional discussion. In case if immovable property is located outside India, then place of supply will be location of receipt. Maybe at the fag end of today's discussion, we will take it up some practical questions. Now let's discuss the provisions and move ahead. In case of certain specified services, could be outdoor catering, restaurant services, beauty treatment services, healthcare services, the place where the services are performed, that would become place of supply. A very simple entry, nothing much to discuss. We'll take it up this entry. In case of event-based services, all those event-based services, the place where the event is actually held. In fact, it is not a service of all event services. It's only discussed about admission to a event. So what do we mean by admission to an event? You a small money is collected from you and you are allowed to get into that event. It could be a reality show. It could be a final finale. It could be an amusement park. It could be a sporting event. It could be an educational event. Any kinds of event. Okay. As long as it is an event, for that event, when for that event, if you collect money, for that event, if you are going to supply for that event, if you are going to provide any services, the place where the event is held, that would become place of supply. followed by organizing of events. As far as organizing of events is concerned, we have not discussed organizing of events. We will take it up later. Onboard conveyance. In case if services are provided inside an aircraft, inside a train, inside a vessel, then the first scheduled point of departure, that would become place of supply. These are the few entries we discussed. Consciously, we excluded certain entries from discussion of that. We will start one after the other. In case service is going to be related to training and performance appraisal services. Sir, my service is training and performance appraisal based services. Now, what do we mean by that? If in case when we are little bothered about that, what is going to be performance appraisal services, training and performance appraisal services. See, many times there are HR interviews that will happen. Many times that are HR based trainings that will happen. In case of all those HR trainings, there would be a training that would happen, and then people will be training would happen, and then people will be highlighted about their performances. In case of your training and performance appraisal category, if a training and performance appraisal activity is supplied, if the service is supplied to a registered person, then location of such registered person is going to be place of supply. If the training and performance appraisal services is provided to a unregistered person, the place where the services are performed, that would become place of supply. What we need to carefully note over here is in case of training and performance appraisal services. See, one training will be given and then they will do a performance appraisal. It is not a one-way communication. Some of the courses, certification courses, some of your postgraduate certification courses, these are all covered here. It's not one person's supplier's responsibility will simply not stop with training. A supplier's responsibility will be a little more ahead, where he will train people and take up, give them some test, come up with certain appraisals, and again, if they want to undergo certain things, they will again ask them to do it. This leadership, we have this green belt, black belt, and all. They'll say no things like this. Six Sigma, or it is going to be different Six Sigma, or many other trainings. Now, in case of all these discussions, if these services are going to be in connection with training and performance appraisal. So if it is going to be a mere coaching and walking away from their responsibility, they will not be covered with that. There are some HR-based organizations who will train people on the leadership skills. Those organizations, because of usage of this word and it gains is important. Let me repeat. The service should be training and performance appraisal services. If supplied to a registered person, if it is supplied to a registered person, location of such person is going to be place of supply. In case other than registered person, in case of other than registered person, where services are actually performed, that would become place of supply. If an organization provide their services to R Limited, who is registered in Delhi, then place of supply for this transaction is Delhi. But however, the whole event, whole training activity would happen in Bombay. Where it is happening is not relevant when your recipient is a registered person. To the contrary, if the recipient is going to be Mr. R, an individual, at that time, where the whole event happened, unregistered person, which is other than registered person, unregistered person. In case that the place where the event is held, Maharashtra would become place of supply. In case of henceforth next 4 5 items, we will have two different answers. Generally, based on our recipient, our understanding would differ. Coming back here, moving quickly into after training and performance appraisal of services to organizing of event. Very interesting to note. It is not only organizing of event is covered. Often some of us get doubts here. So what is the difference between an admission to an event and an organizing of event? From a domestic transaction perspective, they are different. From an international transaction perspective, they are at par. You organize an event or you domestically do you admit an event, all are at par when it comes to international. When it comes to Indian domestic transaction, admission to event, let me repeat, admission to event is the place where the event is held. But organizing of event, a person organizes an event. He takes care of the stage, he takes care of the crew, he takes care of the sitting arrangements, he takes care of the audio video, he takes care of the photography, he takes care of the people entry, people exit, he takes care of security, he takes care of various other aspects. Takes care of. What goes. In fact, often on a little lighter note, I would say, if it is a Filmfare Award, next to Kamala Hassan, if in case he is invited, who has to sit will be decided by the organizer of event. To that extent, people will be meticulous. They will, you have to believe it to see it, that you will be texted, third row, fourth seat is your seat. People will right away walk and the couch is for you. You have to sit in the couch. To that extent, I'm sorry, people will be texted. Okay. So people will be so meticulous. They'll come and sit exactly on that seat. Okay. So point here for our discussion is, in case of all these points for us to understand, it does not stop only with organizing. If you carefully note, any ancillary services provided to the above event, ancillary service, look at that, ancillary service, meaning thereby support services. So all those ancillary services to the event, catering, transportation, transportation of the crew, ancillary services for event, for a successful completion of an event, back at many teams will be working. Now it could be any kind of team, or a team which is responsible just to decorate that immovable property, support services to the event. A team which is just supplying all those equipments, maybe it could be a Jimmy Jib crane for a better photography, to have a close up to you suddenly, okay, which they operate in the whole aspects, or it could be a what is it, drone which is being shooted. End of the day, all activity becomes an ancillary service. Any services of these sort, if the services are provided, could be ancillary service, could be sponsorship related service, could be organizing of event service of specified events. These are all specified events. In case of all this, if any services are provided to a registered person, the location of such person is place of supply. In case if these services are provided to unregistered person, the place where the event is held, that would become place of supply. So, as an organizer of event, am I going to organize the As the organizer of event, am I going to supply these services to a registered person or an unregistered person? Makes it. If services are provided to registered person, location of recipient is place of service. If services are provided to unregistered person, the place where the event is. Sometimes, when services are provided to unregistered person, those service providers will have their services to be spread in two different areas. I'll give you a very live example. This organization is a to Z wedding makers. They call them as A to Z wedding makers, a very famous organization. All those fat weddings will be managed by them. We call it as fat wedding when money spent is more than 250 crore for a wedding celebration. Now we have in Maharashtra a few weddings that would happen for 450 crores, 750 crores. You'll have invitees throughout the world, very simple. You'll have invitees from about 100 plus country on an average. Potential presidential candidate would be as an invitee. Past presidents of various country would be as an invitee. From Ethiopia, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia will come down to that place. So you have some protocols to be followed. Apart from that, the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 invitees, the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 relatives. So a clear demarcation will be there. A lot of homework is required. Let me repeat it. Cannot be just like that handled. In my humble view, in a just 20 crore wedding itself, to the extent what we had an opportunity to see from a clientele perspective. In a 20 crore rupee wedding itself, is so much meticulous arrangement has to be done. The wedding size increases, then see, the idea of wedding size gets increases is the number of invitees there goes more. Beyond that, nothing. It does not make any great change to the couple or anybody else. It's the size of the people to be managed here is going to be larger. Now, in a case like this, there are standard instructions. It has to go like this only. These are the cars. Per car, only 4%. This 4% only will go. And that 4% should receive a message. They should be confirmed that they have to go leave the hotel. And for those 4 people, this is the room, blah, 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 blah. I'm not getting into detail. Okay. If you have interest on that, when you see through that organizations, you can handle it more. My crux discussion is 450 crore rupee wedding happens in 2 locations. 7 days wedding. 3 days at Jaipur, 4 days in Maharashtra. When 3 days at Jaipur and 4 days at Maharashtra, the challenge is Rajasthan and Maharashtra. Now, entire 450 crores is the bunch provided to me. Do I need to treat my place of supply as Mumbai? Sorry. Do I need to treat my place of supply as Maharashtra? Or do I need to treat the place of supply as Rajasthan? Government said, in case of multi-state event, kindly split based on the contract. If contract is not present, some other basis should be there for a split. At no point in time, you can say it is only Mumbai is place of supply, Maharashtra is place of supply. No doubt, the organizing of event is involved to 2 states. Then it has to be split. So how I would divide 450 crores? 450 crores divided by 2, your wish. But it should be best judgment. Let me repeat. When the contract is silent, see, usually to avoid all challenges, what we would recommend is always in a practical note, when the contract is signed itself, we will say you split the value. Okay. You say every day on an average, we need to spend about 75 crores. So 75 crores into 3 days there, 225 crores over there. But when it comes to from Rajasthan to Maharashtra, the living, the aspects, everything is different. And in Maharashtra, the number of invitees are different, which is going to be a little more corporate based invitees. In Rajasthan, it is going to be a traditional, regular family invitees. So that split is also there. So based on that, they can do all these aspects. Now, any case, crux for our discussion is on those organizations. Sir, I do everything for a corporate company. Matter ends there. Matter absolutely ends there. Beyond that, nothing great associated. The moment you do it for a corporate company, they are registered and the whole show comes to an end. Transportation of goods service, all transportation of goods. So, in case of transportation of goods, as far as transportation of goods is concerned, a few aspects to be appreciated over here. If the if the recipient of service is going to be a registered person, if the recipient of service is going to be a registered person, location of such person is going to be place of supply. Sir, this somewhere we read, sir. See, come on, for about training and performance appraisal, organizing of event, transportation of goods, transportation of service, banking, telecom, insurance. The 7 services, if the recipient is registered, that place will become the place of supply for the 7 services. If the recipient is unregistered, then only we have to think about it. If the recipient is registered, that place where they are registered, that will become place of supply. Coming back here, if the recipient is registered in case of transportation of goods, the place where the person is registered, that would become place of supply. In case if the person is not registered, the place where the goods are handed over, kindly note, for their transportation. Make a point very clear. For transportation, that is the place where the goods are handed over. If I give you the goods at Maharashtra, Mumbai, and say you take it to Tamil Nadu, Chennai, the place where I hand over the goods, that would become place of supply in case of unregistered person. In case of registered person, comfortably, aram say you can relax. Very simple reason. The place, registered person place. Tamil Nadu, my recipient is registered, sir. Place of supply, Tamil Nadu. Goods moves from Mumbai to Chennai. In case goods moves from Mumbai to Chennai, the supplier provide the services to a registered recipient. Place of supply is going to be Tamil Nadu, where the recipient is registered. The supplier provide the services to an unregistered person. In other words, other than registered person. See, why government don't want to commit unregistered person in this? If they would have wrote unregistered person, our people will come and interpret what this is applicable only for unregistered person. I am a trust. So that is why they told, are you a registered person? Yes, sir. If you said, then this is place of supply. Other than registered person. Government always want to use this word other. Why? Because often you can say other. Other means everything is covered. Nothing is missed out. That is the purpose. Understand? Because somehow we will not get convinced. Why I have to learn like this other than registered person. But when we read it, you can read it as registered, unregistered. But suddenly don't come out and ask, or in case a question come to you, what would happen is neither a registered person or an unregistered person. Is unregistered person covers everybody. Doubts like this might come at that time. get reminded. If you go to the Verbatim Act, it would come out and say registered person other than registered person. It never used the word unregistered person, other than registered person. Okay. Because many times people are liable to get themselves registered, but they have not registered. Sir, what you are trying to say? Somebody turnover would cross 20 lakhs, but they will not get themselves registered. Department எப்படி சார் தெரியும்? 130 crore people, will they identify and come and find me? I am sorry, people are still in this thought. But 130 crore people is there, but we don't know when things will happen, when people will be caught, when people will not be caught. We don't need to step into all this. But my suggestion always is, if you read something, see, many times downside of many of our commentaries at a final level is, to the extent possible, we'll bring the act into this. Okay. I'm not only speaking from this subject perspective. For that matter, any subject perspective. You take up Companies Act, you take up your direct tax, you take up anything. To the extent possible, we'll try to bring it. But it will come predominantly only as a commentary. It is not the act. When we have a subtle doubt, we may always step into the act. At a touch of a button, we have the act in our hand. When we read through that portion, we will get that instant clarity. Why? Because many times a doubt will come. The place where the goods are handed over, and people will stop reading it. Unfortunately, my slide will mislead you also. Goods are handed over alone is bolded. Now, that's why I highlighted further. For their transportation, goods are handed over can be two ways. In Maharashtra, goods are handed over. In again, Chennai, goods are handed over. I should check which goods are handed over. Maharashtra goods are handed over or Chennai goods are handed over. Handed over for their transport. See, if you don't get doubt, I am happy for you. If you get doubt, be reminded it has to be read like this only. Because last night also we have been discussing a verbatim on 12.8 with a senior chartered accountant who had different views on it. He in fact read it little differently. Ganesh, registered person, why should I not read it from a supplier perspective? Why should I read it from a recipient perspective? Because when we really go, see, for you, I have I have misled you. Why? Because if the recipient is registered, I have given. If you go verbatim to the act, the word recipient will not be there. For me, I want to make your whole discussion little simpler. When you go back to verbatim to the act would not read like this. The place of supply in case of transportation of goods, including mail and courier. A. If the recipient is registered, place of supply is location of recipient. After that, comma, B. Other than registered person, the place of supply, the place where the goods are handed over for their transportation. Then one proviso was inserted, that will come later. Here, nowhere recipient word is there. Why should I think it from recipient perspective? Why should I not think from supplier perspective? If I'm going to think everything from supplier perspective, then what is the charm in having a recipient, sir? Was my very simple answer. Okay. My question here is, see, there are a lot more questions that will come. Lot more questions are there, about 5-6 options are there. We'll try to take it up all the practical options because of reason. This is one of the highly used entry, 12.8. And in terms of reverse charge also, one of the highly practiced reverse charge in the industry is GTA. Because of that reason itself, many confusions are there. But I have four illustrations for you. If somebody is successful in understanding that 4 illustrations, they should be successful in the whole discussions. So not now I'll take, because generally the answers would be right. We'll go it at the fag end of today's discussion. Coming back here, transportation of goods. As far as transportation of goods is concerned, in case if it is going to be, services are provided to a registered person, location of recipient. Services are provided to other than registered person, the place where the goods are handed over for transportation. In case the transportation of goods is going to be a place outside India. In case transportation of goods is going to be a place outside India, place of supply shall be the destination of the goods. Amended from 2019 October. No, little early. 1st February 2019, if my memory serves me right. I think 1st February 2019 we had this amendment. A very important amendment. And after that was not tested in exam. Make yourself little more comfortable, because the next attempt it was not tested, and the other attempt we never had. So it's still not tested. In the whole place of supply, only one amendment. A supplier of service is in Delhi. Recipient of service is in Delhi, but goods alone are transported to New York. Sir, how? Very simple. Export consignment. An exporter to USA hand over the goods to Blue Dart. An exporter for some place hand overs the goods. So in these circumstances, place of supply will be the destination. Place of supply will be destination. Destination. Moving forward, in case of transportation of passengers, same. If the services are provided to a recipient who is a registered person, location of such registered person is going to be place of supply. In case services are provided to other than registered person, the place where the passenger embarks. The place where the passenger embarks for a continuous journey. The place where the passenger embarks for a continuous journey. The place where he steps in. Yes, we will go. This would be applicable when, if the recipient is going to be a other than registered person. Again, one more thing we need to know. Continuous journey means what? Once you stepped in to a aircraft, vessel, vehicle, you should not step out. Okay? If you stepped out, then the journey ends. There might be many stopovers. Hope you understand. There might be many stopovers. You take up a bus that starts from a location A, might stop and go still location D, might stop in two prominent stops, location B and location C. But you will not get over. You will get over only at what? Location. Get down at location D. Then it is treated as a continuous journey. Okay. No, from location A to location C, you go in this bus. From location C to location D, you go in this bus. So, possible, sir. Possible. But very interesting to note, both buses are our buses only. Together, we will give you one ticket. This, from a bus perspective, very rare. Okay. Trains, there are trains, one or two trains that are there. I forgot the name of those trains, where you will buy a single ticket, but you will get down from one train and get in another train. Very common in aviation industry. Very common in aviation industry. When it comes to aviation industry, we call them as connecting flights. Same company, Chennai to Mumbai, you will have an aircraft. Another aircraft will be there waiting at Mumbai. Mumbai to Jaipur. Sir, it's a Chennai Jaipur aircraft, sir, but stops at Mumbai. There, if you buy a ticket from Chennai to Jaipur, it's a continuous journey. Sir, no, sir. Chennai to Mumbai, aircraft one. Get down at Mumbai arrival. Then go, come out, make a get in to the transfer, internal transfer. Then go from your departures. Then go stand in the queue for the next aircraft, and then now travel to Jaipur. Is it possible? Yes. In that way also it is possible. In that case, sir, bag will automatically move. That's a blessing. That's a blessing. Otherwise, you have to wait for the bag and then carry along with the bag. Okay. Now, bag will automatically move, but person has to move by himself because there is a change in the aircraft. That is not a continuous journey. In other words, if a person comes or moves out of his seat, it is not a continuous journey. If the journey breaks, it's not a continuous journey. No, I want to know more about continuous journey. Continuous journey, leg of journey. Words are all there and defined under your Aircraft Act, which is also borrowed in GST. At a later point in time, when you are a little relaxed, you read through it. But for aviation industry, no one will have an interest in learning these words. What is continuous journey or what is a leg of journey, where the aircraft stops for the purpose of fueling, refueling, maintenance, or for the passengers to embark or disembark, which is called as leg of journey. In a continuous journey, there can be many legs of journey. Chennai, Jaipur, Mumbai is a leg of journey. Leg of journey. So the aircraft is scheduled like this. It will operate. First scheduled departure is Chennai. End is going to be Jaipur. Leg of journey is going to be Mumbai. No. This aircraft is a Chennai Mumbai aircraft. It stops. Then it goes to Mumbai, Delhi. Separate in another name. Then again, with the next 45 minutes, another aircraft is there from Mumbai to Jaipur. Both can be connected and sold by the same aviation company, let's say Indigo. No doubt. No doubt it is your, no doubt it will be treated as your, what is it, a ticket, but it cannot be treated as your continuous journey. This is separate ticket, that is separate ticket. Continuous journey wording will gains its importance only in other than registered person category. Registered person category, it will not make an importance at all. Because in other than registered person category, he get down at Mumbai, again steps into the aircraft in Mumbai. For the Mumbai Jaipur ticket, place of supply is Mumbai. For the Chennai Mumbai ticket, place of supply will become Chennai Tamil Nadu. For the Mumbai Jaipur ticket, place of supply will become Mumbai. There is something called as a right to passage. A right to passage is all the silver spoon kids will have. Okay, sorry to call it that way. A right to passage is a ticket. It's 10 tickets will be available. They'll tear and give that right to passage and say, I want Mumbai Delhi ticket. Immediately will be given. No money, no nothing exchange. Right to passage. One coupon will be given. Sir, I'm unable to understand this. We all would have used this coupon in our buses as part of college activities, college bus pass facilities or whatever domestic transport facilities that are rendered by the government. They'll give so many tokens, 30 tokens, 20 tokens, some numbers were there. I'm unable to recollect all that. One, I never used this. I'm never entitled for that. So because of that reason, not able to remember, but I still think my friends used to use that. 30 coupons, I believe, was the original number they get. Meaning thereby, you are allowed to travel even to a different destination than from your house to college, even to a different destination using that coupon, where in which it is connected with those transportation facilities. Now, why this topic becomes important is very simple. A right to passage is a bunch of prepaid ticket values. 10 vouchers will be sold for 75,000 rupees. In that, any airport, any airport, any destination, tickets will be served with the next 30 minutes. All you need to go is, you should have only 2 hours time. If you are 2 hours prior to the aircraft, your ticket will be given. Just 2 hours. 45 minutes for there, or 45 minutes, 1 hour for there, another half an hour. 1.5 hours also people used to get. Point here is right to passage. It's a very simple model where prepaid, but not really used by many people, as people have to block their monies upfront. You have to buy and keep it with the person. In case of right to passage is determined as per general entry 12.2. This section is not applicable. Hope you could able to appreciate it. Something like prepaid voucher, transport voucher. You could able to understand at that level, that's sufficient. See, a lot of us would have experienced air travel transportation. A few of us yet to experience all those air travel transportation. It's all part of the game. I was very clear. My first air travel should be a official travel paid by the client. Somehow I had in me, I never had an opportunity to make air travel itself. Regular travel only we will do by car or train, but air travel was something always a dream, which we will think how it will be there. That too, if we see few films, then we'll get little excited how it is going to be when you are at 33,000 feet and all. So our office as an internship had a policy that any qualified would be entitled for air travel. Other than qualified would be entitled for a 3-tier AC or a 2-tier AC based on the travel arrangement. They, no doubt, they never put us less than 3-tier AC. 3-tier AC on a train, or a 2-tier if it is going to be a long travel, meaning thereby if it is going to be Chennai to Kolkata, they would prefer us to take up 2-tier rather than the 3rd tier. It was an audit which came up at Bombay. I've been asked to go, but unfortunately I have to go by train. I was not much interested in going by train. So I said, no, 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 no. If you give me air ticket, I'll go. Flight said, no. Our office policy also, no, Ganesh, we can't swap the policy. They made at least my senior at that time made it very clear. That day took a sabadam. My first travel will be a paid travel of the client. Stepped into the aircraft, once qualified with the next 1 month on 26th December 2009. What things, certain things, first you do know, you will remember in life. By the time I qualified, okay, that was my first air travel. I'll still remember. In that whole year, that was only travel. Next year, only one more travel. That was a personal travel of not 26th of December. I'm sorry, I spelled the date. It was November, not December, November, October or November, October 2009, I believe, or November, something. That was the date. In any case, that was the first day where to see boarding pass means what is this fellow checking everything, checking baggage. Today, a lot is on. Today, kids are all smart enough. Small fellow in my home and all. When I say I came from Kochi, show me the boarding pass, I want to verify, he'll say, this morning only you told you are going having some meeting. Yes, yeah. Morning I went to Kochi, attended the session, meeting, closed it, came by night. No, no, you are bluffing me. You're going to go office and coming back. Show me the boarding pass. When you know what is boarding pass, the age was 24. The small kids ask at the age of 5. Now one more kid is there that I asked at the age of 2 itself. Now, in any case, exposures are different. In any case, something is personal, something always it is personal. Wish and pray. After that, thanks to GST and all now, or but for this pandemic, we are not traveling. Otherwise, travel was always part of it. When we travel, we will be able to understand that a lot of all this would happen. Aircraft is common, but the passage number and the schedule number is what is constant. Meaning thereby aircraft will go as, let's say from an Indigo perspective, 6C467 from Chennai to Mumbai. It goes, lands there. I'll rephrase. It goes and arrives there. Once arrives, once that is over, same aircraft will move as 6C845 to Mumbai to Delhi. Aircraft never changed. It's only the passage numbering differs. So why I need to know about it? In case of a continuous journey, aircraft this numbering will not change. It will generally be same. 6C467, Jaipur, Chennai to Mumbai, Mumbai to Jaipur. Anybody steps into Mumbai, in Mumbai for Jaipur also, for them also 6C467. See, these are all some small fine-tuning aspects that over a period of time, when we frequently travel, when we have no other option to do, again and again boarding pass. Thanks to today's OTT platform technology, handheld devices, and XYZ. So you have a better understanding. Otherwise, you have to either read a book or you have no other option. Again and again, morcha and the boarding pass thaan paatam. Then you will start thinking about all this. Followed by onboard services. We already saw, I'm not stepping much on it. Telecom services. See, actually, from the industry perspective, lot more questions are there. Okay, but from an exam perspective, only questions are there. But from an industry perspective, many questions are there. But we will discuss it more from a exam perspective. In case of all those leased line, or in case of all those DTH related matter, dish related matter, the place where the equipment is installed, that would become place of service. So it could be a DTH related services, or it is going to be a lease line equipment that is installed, or a dedicated line through satellite connections. ISDN. Yes, ISDN. They have that dedicated lines, which they call it as. Their data alone will move. Apart from the lease line itself, their data only will move. This ISDN is a little more high-end line. Now, in case of these lines, these traffic of data, it's a dedicated line, and moreover, one equipment will be there which will regulate this movement. The place where the equipment is installed, that would become place of supply. In case of all those postpaid bills, the location of billing address, the place where it is going to be billed, that will become place of supply. That is understandable. Followed by, in case of prepaid basis, the address of the selling agent or the reseller as per the record of the supplier. Very simple. The address of the selling agent or the distributor as per the records of the supplier. As per the records of the supplier, what is going to be the, because this all moves in that e-wallet. Airtel has a e-wallet scheme. If you pay me 3,000 rupees today, I will give you recharge facilities of up to 3,300. What this end retailer, prepaid retailer will feel, I can gain 300 rupees. Okay. So what he will do is, he'll subscribe for 3,000 and he'll keep with him 3,000. Hope you understand. 3,000 only he'll pay, but his account will be credited to the extent of 3,300. And now he can recharge 10 people up to 3,300. It's the business model itself will go like this. Let me repeat it. We have to know the business model. Then only we can appreciate it. It is not he will buy from buy for 3,300 and he buy for 356 and recharge 356. No, it does not goes in that model itself. It goes altogether in a different model. He'll buy his vouchers in a prepaid. There will be another scheme. In a month, if you have purchased more than 1 lakh rupee, I will give you 5,000 rupees extra. I will top up your e-wallet by 5,000 rupees. It's not 5,000 rupees, 5,000 e-wallet points I'll give you. With that 5,000, what I can do? Again, I can either, if I am a main distributor, I can distribute to my reseller. If he is a reseller, he can sell it to the end consumer. It's all connected through the e-wallets. So digital economy, everything goes digital. So these are all a little more point. The location of the respective selling distributors, that would become place of supply. In case final subscriber, person who's a final subscriber through internet, through some other portal or through mobile apps, if in case he uses that and makes a payment, the location where the prepayment is received, that would become place of supply. Okay. So generally, even in this case only, we will have a different view. Many times they will know the address of, even in case of prepaid also. See, without a KYC, nothing moves in telecom industry. So if there is a KYC, then there is a record of a supplier, address of record, address on record of the supplier. One definition we would have read earlier. Meaning thereby, one address is available for that number. And always that number would give you which service provider, which circle license, everything. So if this be the situation, a person would be able to identify it. After MNP only, we have these challenges. Otherwise, this challenge was always, it was not a challenge at all. It would be known which is your service provider and how it is going to be operationalized. So any web-based linking alone, we have different views when it comes to its final subscribe. Yes. Final subscribers means we ourselves directly recharge. Yes, Sai Subram. Yes. We ourselves go to the mobile app and recharge. No. At that time, how to determine place of supply? They made a point very clear where the payment is received. Here there are two disputes from an industry perspective. Okay, not from you and me, from an exam discussion perspective. From an industry perspective, we have disputes because your circle license is a Chennai license. But the payment, the app is controlled centrally, okay, centrally at Bombay. You cannot treat this payment as a Bombay payment, which means technically the state government of Tamil Nadu will be losing money. So from an industry perspective, you have a discussion. At an exam perspective, you close this issue. You don't have a discussion to make. Like this, one more discussion is also there on the fixed lease line. Okay, there is another problem. We will not touch the industry perspective as I highlighted. That will lead to only further a lot more deliberation. End of the day may not be little fruitful, but for you are going to be a GM of Vodafone or Vodafone Idea or Airtel. BSNL does not appreciate this issue in a very great way, because for them, they go by certain standard models. So for them, this issue itself will not come. Banking and other financial services. In case of banking and financial services is concerned, including stockbroking services. Location of the recipient of service as per the records of the supplier will become place of supply. So definitely again, banking services, stockbroking services, this services, that there's other financial services. Financial services is a wide entry. In case of banking and other financial services, the location of the recipient, okay, is going to be place of supply. If that recipient is registered recipient, then his address, his GST number. If that recipient is not registered, then it is going to be his usual place of residence. So that is going to be the only difference when it comes to banking and financial services. In case of insurance services, if the services are provided to registered person, location of such person. In case other than registered person, the location of recipient as per the records of the insurance. In the insurance, without an address, nothing happens. In the policy itself, an address will be mentioned. Sir, we are not bothering whether that address is correct address. Today he lives there. Address is there. If an address is there, then that is what is in my record. Address of supplier of service. Honestly speaking, some of us, including me, we would have originally lived in a different property. Later, we would have migrated to another property. Till today, we cannot come out and say our driving license, our Aadhaar card, our bank passbook, our ration card, and any other document. Okay, one more document. Are all insurance policies. All these are all in same address, you say me. So all are same address, sir, my dear. Then we have never lived in different properties itself. We have lived in different properties. You will never have. It's a transition by itself. Election. Election. Uh-huh. It's not a some. We don't have an infrastructure. One place we amend, every address will be amended. Individually, we have to go and amend. We'll go and individually amend. Everything is over. All 5 proofs will be same. Once that is same, nothing would happen. By next 1 year, we will change the house. Okay. Then again change from the first record, second record, third record, fourth record, fifth record. Then this is common. So nobody bothers here whether that address is right or wrong. Is it an address? Does a KYC is done? That will become case of some. In case of advertisement services, more specifically, advertisement services provided by government. Sorry, provided to government. Advertisement services provided to government. In case of advertisement services provided to, more specifically, 3 people: central government, state government, and local government. I'll ask the fundamental question. Some of you would have experienced this question, but in my view, this is the best question to pick up to appreciate a discussion on this topic itself. Take up a advertisement by central government. On August 15th, 2020, a one-page advertisement comes in a national-wide newspaper. National-wide newspaper, which is printed in 21 locations, circulated in 17 states. Okay. Printed in 21 locations, circulated in 17 states in a national-wide newspaper advertisement service, Ayushman Bharat, one of the flagship program of the government, is advertised, for which 78 lakh rupees is paid by Government of India to this national-wide newspaper, consciously keeping the name of the newspaper outside, not referring to the name of the newspaper. This national-wide newspaper received rupees 78 lakhs. Now, the only question that I'm going to ask to you is, the national-wide newspaper first page will be Ayushman Bharat, the Prime Minister's image, the India image, schemes, benefits, how many people benefited out of it, and a big Independence Day message. Because see, one government, one policy scheme will be little more attractive for the purpose of their advertisements, the government-based advertisements. Here, this government-based advertisement, this is the scheme, because this was announced about 2 Independence Day before. So the progress of this, and if what is told is covered, if you're going to cover 50 crore people into this policy, 50 crore people into this policy, this will be the world's biggest insurance policy. 50. As of now, 15 crore people, 15 crore people is brought in, I believe. 50 crore, 50. If you're going to, idea is to bring 50 crore people. If 50 crore people comes into this policy of Ayushman Bharat, world's number one policy will be this policy. So you have so much hype created for it, and that hype has to be sent to the nook and corner of this country. So they identified a national-wide media. 21 places he will print a paper. All 21 places, first page is this page. Circulated in 17 states. State-wise, it will be, for example, sir, how that will be distributed. For example, in Tamil Nadu, in 2 locations they will print. So, as a state, Tamil Nadu 1, but as a printing location, it is 2. In Andhra Pradesh, they will print in 2 locations. In Mumbai, they will print in 2 locations. Okay, so that makes there 21 locations. Okay, 21 locations, 17 states. Question before us: 78 lakh rupees has to be for the 78 lakhs. Place of supply is one state, Maharashtra, where the HO is located, who signed the agreement with Government of India, or all 17 states. Your place of supply is HO state or all the 17 states is the question. You come up with the answer. HO state or 17 states. What's your view? A few of you start to answer right. Quick. Yes. All 17 states. Ganapati, check 17 states. All 17 states. Because the dissemination of this knowledge goes to all 17 states. Now, if we come out and say all 17 states, we have another problem here. That problem is, how are we going to distribute that 78 lakhs among all the 17 states? That is very simple, sir. 78 lakhs divided by 17. Now, unfortunately, we read this accounts. The average, it should be objective. The averaging out correct. Okay, that is something, somewhere something goes wrong. Okay, you 3 of you worked. I'll give you 5,000 rupees. All 3 of you will share. One fellow has worked so much, one fellow never worked at all. All are benefited by the variable pay. Average pay. Okay, so how are we going to? Now, I agree with all of you. 17 states, we all told. 17 states, revenue has to be distributed. 78 lakhs. How are we going to distribute to 17 states? What can be the basis? Because it is paper, let me repeat. Because it is paper, the metrics can be number of circulation of paper in each state. Can you able to appreciate it? In every state on that day, how much paper is sold? One count is there. Number of paper circulated on that day. Now, based on that discussion, number of paper circulated, you can arrive. Sir, in my state, 4 lakh paper was circulated as against the total circulation of 1 crore 24 lakhs. Sir, in my states, 21 lakh paper circulated as against 1 crore 24 lakhs. 1 crore 24 lakhs is the total circulation. Sir, in my state, 18 lakhs paper. In my state, 6 lakhs paper. In my state, 7 lakh paper. I will have a split for 1 crore 24 lakhs. Based on that, the revenue has to be apportioned. Aishwarya, number of papers printed cannot be taken because you print the paper, give it to that fellow. If it is unsold, it will come back to you. If it is unsold, no, it will come back to you. We cannot go by the number of papers printed. We have to go by the number of paper circulated, and that is a separate count that is available with the Newspaper agencies. Every newspaper company has that number. Daily, how much paper printed and sold he has. Printed, sold. Because there will be gap. As a now, put yourself as a statutory auditor of a newspaper company. There will be a printer. He'll print and give you 50,000 papers. Assume. For you, you got your printer, printed 50,000 papers, and for that he'll collect money and go from you. 50,000 paper printed, each paper printing cost 10 rupees, 50,000 into 10 rupees. Now, when it comes to revenue, you have a regular subscribers of 30,000 people. Balance 20,000 papers has to be sold. Now, what would happen is the newspaper distributors, the newspaper final agents will go and keep in every shop 15, 15, 15, 15 and come. Next day when they go, no, they'll or that day, not that evening, next day or next day evening, they'll collect the previous day unsold paper. Because revenue will not come, unsold paper from the agent to the main fellow will go back. So 20,000 paper, 18,000 only we sold. So 18,000 into 2 rupees, a revenue should be accounted. 2,000 not sold. That data will be there. That data will be there. Every organization, see how far it is available, how far genuine, and these are all audited because your advertisement revenue itself is based on circulation. Okay. Without accounting revenue, you cannot do circulation. So this is an independent agencies are there. So those information would be a valid information than printing. Printing cannot be a basis. Advertisement important. Okay, so that's how the basis should be. I'm sure you all will agree with me. If in Facebook, if you see an ad, Facebook knows have you saw the ad or not. Yes or no? If you see a poster in Facebook, okay, just you scroll the Facebook, you touch it. Facebook knows that you have touched it or not. Facebook know you saw or not. Your eyes saw that advertisement or not. Facebook knows. We will not know. We as a user all pavam. Okay. Facebook knows. Count. When I upload an advertisement, I will be shown by the Facebook. So many users have seen your advertisement. That too, if it is a sponsored advertisement. Somebody sponsored that advertisement. So that seeing is called as a dissemination of knowledge, a dissemination, knowledge dissemination, or dissemination of the advertisement. So see, as long as it is within these states, we will not have challenge at all. Let me repeat it. Tamil Nadu government is going to conduct an international summit, and it has been given where it will be circulated in Tamil Nadu. Advertisement will be circulated. No challenge. What challenge you have? The place where it is from. Then we'll take up this advertisement. Have you saw in train? Okay, this is what you should know Hindi. Beti Pado. Ensure the girl child goes to the school. What is that? What is that in Hindi? Beti. Beti Bacho, Beti Pado. Thank you, Vidya. Beti Bacho, Beti Pado. Advertisements you would have seen in train. Okay. The two train that goes from Chennai to Guwahati. Okay. I like this train. Beti Bacho, Beti Pado. One advertisement will be there. Sir, why sir that train? That's a special train to me always. Okay, Chennai to Guwahati. If you go sit in the train, 3 days you'll go. Train will also go, days will also go. The point here is this. It will touch Tamil, of course, starts from Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Orissa, then one more place and then Assam, I believe. Okay, finally only Assam. 1365 kilometers approx. Okay, approx 695 rupees economy class, and you should travel in economy class for a world class learning, not traveling. World class learning you will understand if you travel in Chennai to Guwahati, a train, 1400 kilometers approx. You will we will understand what is life. Okay, what is life when we want to understand, preferably, and you should live the experience beyond. After Vijayawada, we have one place. After Vijayawada, 2 hours later, one station will come. A beautiful station. After that, you should live. The two train touches Orissa and all. Wow, on top of the world learning experience. You will never get it. And in all top of it, you should not know Hindi. Life will be beautiful. Now, coming to the core discussion. A train like that, which contains the advertisements, Beti Bacho, Beti Padho. Now, this train goes Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, what is it? Gujarat, Orissa, one more, I think it touches upon a little bit of Madhya Pradesh and then goes to Assam or somehow it goes, forgot. Of course, in the train, halfway through itself, I get down, so I don't have much experience to share. But point here is, trains like this, when advertisement of government is concerned, what is the place of supply? The rail kilometer it traveled will become place of supply. So that means, sir, one way it goes, no. When one way it goes, you should arrive in Tamil Nadu, how many rail kilometers? In Andhra Pradesh, how many rail kilometers? In Gujarat, beautiful academic problem. Okay, somebody can confuse you to the core. Nobody from government, that fellow will come out and say, I am Indian Railway. I am providing pure services to government, and that pure services is for the dissemination of certain knowledge. We believe we are exempted. Actually, he is not exempted. We believe we are exempted, and he will go. Tomorrow, GST department will issue a show cause notice to Indian Railway saying that you have to pay 20 crore rupee. Okay, as a standing council, when we represent, we will go and say, sir, revenue neutral. Either it is Indian Railway or it is GST department. End of the day, money goes to government of India. Yes, revenue neutral. Go. That's all will happen. Okay. These provisions are all maybe from a news industry perspective, a little more important. Okay. Of course, from the news channels and the broadcasting FM radios perspective, the advertisements are important. But from other models, I don't think so. And for everything, you have a separate model government has devised. I have discussed with you only two models: rail kilometers and newspaper, number of newspapers circulated. Every model you have a IGST rule which discuss about it in a very detailed way. If a client is on that ground, yes, it would be a great understanding to appreciate. Coming back here, that sums up our discussion broadly relating to your what is it? Broadly relating to your location of supplier and location of recipient. Both of them are in India. How place of supply will be different. We'll quickly get into an important diagram. How this decision we have to make. In fact, we would make this decisions only like this. And after that, we will take a few questions. Or I think today's scheduled time might close at after once we discuss this discussion. immovable property based services or performance based services such as outdoor catering or grooming, all these services, which are all specified services. Post immovable property based services, performance based services, we have something called as admission to events. Onboard convenience service. Government or local authority. If advertisement service provided to a private limited company, public limited company, you will not have an issue at all here. These advertisement services provided to government or local authority should be categorized in a particular. This you can call it as one list. Okay. There is going to be another list of specified services. Training and performance appraisal services. Organizing of events services. Transportation of goods service. Transportation of transportation of passenger service, followed by training and performance appraisal services, organizing of event services, transportation of goods service, transportation of passenger service, mm, banking and other financial services, insurance. 4, 7. Okay. Done. See, in case of you can, this is one particular list of services. Okay. You can call this as a separate list. Again, this is another list of services. Both list of services are meant for, see, no doubt, or specified services. These are all services which are specified in the thing. But only difference is this is a separate list of service, this is a separate list of service. For example, you can call this as list 1, and you can of course call this list as list 2. Sir, what is the difference between list 1 and list 2? See, list 1, generally you will have only one place of supply, irrespective of any situation. But in list 2, you will have two place of supplies. Training and performance appraisal service provided to registered person, place of supply is different. Provided to unregistered person, place of supply is different. Organizing of event provided to registered person, one place of supply. Unregistered person, one more place of supply. The exception in this discussion is only banking services. Banking services, location of recipient, law says. But again, even your location of recipient is registered, that place will become place of supply. Of course, that location of recipient, again, if it is going to be an individual, location of recipient. In the whole discussion of list 2, banking is alone is little exception. Unfortunately, for banking, both remain same. But for it, you can also consider banking as there only. Because sometimes, if it is a current account, you will give the GST number. If it is an SB account, you will not give a GST number. In an SB account, GST number is not possible. It's an end consumer transaction. But in a current account, it's a business transaction. So coming back here, list 1, list 2, you can broadly categorize. This is our discussion only, not supported by any, precedent of government and all, just for how we have to analyze the transaction. The moment if it is going to be a discussion on place of supply, of services, our thought flow should go in this direction. So, if a service, if a service is not covered by list 1 or list 2, then such services will be determined based on general basis or general rule. What is a general rule? When we get into that general rule comes out and says, generally, place of supply of service is location of recipient. If such recipient is registered person, then such recipient is registered person, location of such registered person is place of service. Else, then location of unregistered persons. End of the day, it's location of such unregistered person. You be it You can, in fact, you can even conclude it. Generally, location of recipient is going to be place of supply, irrespective of registered person or unregistered person. Okay, you can conclude, including registered or unregistered person. I'll close in that way. That is the easiest way to close here within the space. Followed by, if, this is the most important part, if location of recipient is not available. Sir, somebody came and gave me 50,000 rupees. I don't know who gave, I forgot it. Location of recipient is not available. Very rare, not available. Then place of supply will be location of supply. Very strategy. So discussion is very clear. You can use a general entry. You can use a in case a service is not covered by list 1 or list 2, then such service will be, then for such service, place of supply will be determined when it comes to general rule of place of supply of service. It will be yes. That sums up our critical discussion. So I want all of us to go in this flow only. First, we will check in list 1. Is it covered? Is it covered in list 2? See, why I want you to list 2 is sometimes questions are open questions at final level. They would come out and say training services and performance appraisal services done by R Limited. Determine place of supply. Many of us would come out and say if it is provided to the registered person, place of supply is going to be location of recipient, and we'll stop there. I remind you, we have not addressed one more position. The question was open. The question never talked about recipient at all. And more specifically, the question never talked about recipient status. Whether that recipient is a registered recipient or other than registered recipient. So, to that extent, the answer is, to that extent, the question is unanswered. So if the question is silent, then I have to come with 2 proposals. I don't know about your recipient. If your recipient is registered, place of supply is location of recipient. If the recipient is unregistered, then place of supply will be the place where it is performed. Now that sums up your discussion. That just to ignite that thought, no, this is another category. Here we will have 2 answers. But for banking and financial services, the only exceptional fellow here is banking and financial services in our whole discussions. Okay. In case of banking and financial services alone, taken. Okay. That fellow, maybe he should have gone to the earlier list. But any case, but it's worth discussing because in banking and financial services, sometime we'll give GST number, sometime we will not give GST number. That is why it is brought into the list. Otherwise, a clear demarcation we can make. True. Yes. Any doubts? Yes, I will take it. This completes our discussion relating to your place of service. Yes. Any questions you want to raise? You can always raise. Thank you all for your questions. Thank you.